play my intro. Enter the stylist that likes to share. Here is Amber with knowledge and care. And if you like the vibe, like and subscribe. Yay! I'm live and I played my intro. And hopefully my mic is working. I still need to figure out how to look at my chat, if there is any. Look at my... Oh, I can hear myself. Okay. Chat, if there is any. Pausing that. All right, so today I'm going to go over Chapter 1 in my Milady Standard. This one has actually got me a bit nervous because it is about your professional image. So I keep thinking like, oh, how am I going to do this? Like, I got to look good. I got to make sure, everything's together. And that is part of your professional image. So I'm like overanalyzing every little bit of myself, a little too much probably for this chapter. But that is sometimes a little bit nerve-wracking for a lot of people to really look and analyze, okay, how am I being perceived by other people and how might that affect my career? That is very daunting, especially in an industry where it is such a looks-based industry where, it may not matter as much in an office building. Of course, you still have to be clean and professional, but having all of the exact, perfect everything may not matter as much depending on your profession. But with our profession, I would say there's definitely a little more push for that. I would say at the schools that I worked for, this was probably one of the harder things for some students. As a college student, you can wear your PJs to class and you don't have to do your hair and makeup. But as a cosmetology student, you need to, present yourself in a little bit of a more professional way, even while you're at school, just to get in those habits. And there are some girls that take it, to the extreme, especially a couple years ago with all of the makeup gurus and stuff. I think before the pandemic, it was still really, it was just starting to die down, this whole, ultra glam makeup look. But after the pandemic, I would say we're all a little more going towards the natural side. And that's how trends usually go with hair and makeup and clothes and everything. Will get really intricate and very over the top with things. And then everybody's like, ooh, we're so sick of that. Let's go more natural. And it'll, wave again another 20 years, which I think is fun because I enjoy experimenting with lots of different looks. Right now, I don't know if you can really tell because I curled my hair, but I have this like little shaggy bob thing going, and this is kind of a different cut for me that I've had. Sometimes when I do it just right, I can get like a really, I guess I can't do it right now, but it'll do like this really kind of Farrah Fawcett thing, which is kind of cute. And so that is definitely new for me and my looks. I'm always up for experimenting and changing things. But this chapter, I kept a little clip here of what I wrote in the description. So I think this really sums it up. So maintaining good physical and mental health while establishing good human relationships with professional attitude and good morals. So I would say that is a sum up of this chapter, as well as a sum up of what I strive to do in my profession. That can be really hard, especially I found that to be hard at the schools, just because what I felt was, something that was very important and needed to be upheld within our industry. The schools didn't necessarily want to enforce to the extreme that I did, which makes me sound like a really strict teacher, which I don't think I was. I just have very high standards, which maybe is not a good thing for everybody, but I think it's a good thing because my teacher had the highest standards. She said you should always strive to do your best and be the best. Like you may never be the best, but just in the pursuit of perfection, you learn and grow and become more proficient. So it wasn't about practice makes perfection. It was about practice makes proficiency. Okay. So let's get into the thick of how you need to look and act while you're being proficient in your profession. So your professional and personal health, that's a big thing. I would say that's probably one of the hardest things we struggle with as cosmetologists is keeping our bodies healthy as we're standing on our feet all day. A lot of us don't drink enough water or take enough breaks and get off our feet, even sit down to eat sometimes. I know I was very guilty of this when I was younger, working 12, 15-hour days and literally not taking a lunch, dinner, nothing. And then coming home and mowing down because I'm starving and obviously making poor choices, probably running to the drive-through on the way home, if something's still open. That was half the thing too, is if I worked really late, maybe not even good options were open except like Taco Bell and McDonald's and such. So just being aware of your schedule and not treating yourself like that. I would say this profession has gotten better over the years at getting oh, I just noticed maybe I can click on my comments here to see if I have any. I don't have any yet, but if you want to comment, please comment. I was, like I said, I was nervous to do this, but I was like, let's just go for it because I feel like the more I wait and think, the more I get in my head, the more likely it's not going to happen. Um, so yeah, making sure you have the proper rest, the proper relaxation time within your day at work, but also on your off days. That is something I've also struggled with is just over scheduling myself, over volunteering with the kids. I have 3 kids. So, making sure you have that balance. This is the thing that we all need to strive for in any profession. I would just say in this profession particularly, it's really easy to overschedule yourself just because we tend to be people pleasers. That's we're in the we're in the service profession to work for people. So it is, important to, have that little bit of that people pleaser mentality. But then the issue with that comes that we, try to do too much. We try to please everyone, and that's just not ever possible. When you have that client that wants you to just stay a little later and you add it to the end of your 8-hour day, and then you have one more client and you add it to the end of your 10-hour day, and then before you know it, you're like, well, I might as well add one more. I'm going to be here all day anyways, So it's a slippery slope that's really easy to get into bad habits with. Another one is personal hygiene. I would say for the most part that, tends to not be an issue within this profession to the most, for the biggest thing, but it is important to be aware of body odor and your breath and making sure you're clean. Most of us, we want to be clean and professional, so that's usually not as big of an issue, but it's definitely something that can come up with some students or staff in the past in my 20 some years. Yeah, there's been some issues. So, it's a hard thing to kind of have to deal with, but it's important, especially when you literally have your armpit in someone's face. So, and then personal grooming that goes right along with, the personal hygiene, making sure you're all neat and clean. We are providing grooming to the public. Basically, we're professional groomers. We are gonna help you with your hair, nails, and skin. So we need to make sure we look like we take care of our hair, nails, and skin. So obviously today I got like some not great. This is an example of what your nails shouldn't look like. That's one reason why I love those press-on nails. They're so quick and easy, and the Kiss pink glue holds really well. It holds for a week for me, even doing hair and everything. So that's a good thing to do in a pinch when you're feeling like you're looking like a little disheveled. The next part is care of feet. That's a really big one. And I would say that's something that I haven't always done the best on, but as you get older, your body forces you to because you end up with feet issues if you don't take care of your feet. So I'm always on the hunt for cute shoes that are comfortable. And I love my Doc Martens I've gotten recently. I found a really cute pair of platform shoes they were just like this spongy platform at Target. they were really cheap, but they're really comfy, and I've gotten so many compliments on them. So, yeah, just always out for that perfect shoe. I was very thankful when Birkenstocks became trendy because I've always loved Birkenstocks and they've not always been trendy, but they are so, so comfortable when you have that shoe that just fits perfect like a Birkenstock does when it molds to your foot. So definitely take care with your feet. It doesn't always have to be expensive, but it is worth investing some extra money in so you are not hurting yourself in the long run because we are on our feet for most of what we do and we need to take care of ourselves. Another way is with good posture, and I would say this is another thing that having proper footwear can help you have a better posture. So making sure that you're always standing up and putting your shoulders back. It's really easy as cosmetologists to always be like, you know, working like this, really small and focusing on what we're doing, but we need to like open our shoulders and try to drop our arms and try to, not get that tightness in our shoulders and do some really good stretching too. The one I love to do the most is putting my arms behind me like this and really pulling them back and really stretching these muscles here, going back behind. I got a yoga swing. I love that. Maybe someday I'll show you and you pulling back like that because this gets really tight. And especially if you have a bigger chest, that can be an issue as well. I was very lucky. I got to have a breast reduction about 13 years ago now. So that has helped a lot too. I have had to do a lot of things over the years to maintain my body as it's breaking down as I'm pushing 40 and doing this career. I had to have surgery on my wrist. So doing what you can to take that load off of your body is really important. Um, Another thing that they talk about is your your mental balance, and that's important too. Your mental health, making sure that's balanced, because we do work with the public, so we end up being kind of like therapists, where we do take on a lot of that, uh, heavy energy, and kind of can feel at the end of the day that you you're taking it all in, but you have to have those moments too where you can take care of yourself. If that's through therapy, where you can go and talk about yourself, or you're having good friends and family support, and making sure that you're not holding that tension within you from day to day. So if you need to do some sort of meditation or some prayer or something, whatever works with you, and whatever type of religion or rituals that you like to follow, anything that just helps you be calm. Like I said, even meditation, you don't have to be religious to just have some moments of peace and try to maintain that mental health. However you need to seek a professional if you need to. There's no shame in it. um, yeah, and making sure you so when they're talking about this, they talk about having emotional control, which is a good thing. I'm um definitely one that struggles with that myself. I cry on a dime. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You get what you get with me. I'm not a very good liar. I Yeah, so you can see my emotions. They are what they are. So, yeah, trying to keep your even tempered. I would say with my clients, I do a very good job keeping my cool. It might just be as a mom sometimes. I kind of blow my lid and here and there have my moments, but none of us are perfect. And as long as you are trying and most of the time you are doing good, you should be fine. Again, if you need to go to a therapist or rely on medication. There's nothing wrong with that. We are all, grew up in different situations. We all have different chemistries where we might need medication to help us regulate our emotions, and that's okay. We might need therapy, we might need religion, prayer, whatever works for you, it's all good. A positive approach, be pleasant and gracious. Of course, having a good attitude goes a long way with customer service. Anybody that's ever worked in customer service knows, just kill them with kindness. That's my motto for working in customer service. At this point in my career, I'm very lucky that most of my clients are becoming my dear friends at this point, and we can have more, in-depth conversations. But especially in the beginning, when you don't know people very well and you're not on that level of comfort with them, killing them with kindness is the best way to approach most any situation. um, Good or bad situation, just using kindness and everything can go a long way. Of course, using good manners. So in here they talk about bad manners would be like yawning and sneezing and canceling appointments and chewing gum. And, you know, I'm kind of more of a laid back person, so I love chewing gum. And of course, I don't just sneeze on people's faces and yawn in people's faces. You need to turn your head, you need to be sanitary, all this good stuff. But I definitely have a little maybe more laid back approach to some of these things. But definitely you need to have good listening skills. That's more important than anything. I think letting the client kind of lead the conversation can help you get to know where they want to be. I have some clients that want to talk to me the whole time. We want to have a conversation. They want to ask me questions. They want me to ask them questions. I have some clients that don't want to say a single thing, um, you know, and I might ask some questions and they might be like, I'm sorry, I'm not very talkative. And then I can give them that opportunity to, I can be like, oh, that's fine. I talk to people all day. If you want to sit and just zone out, totally fine with me. I'm just going to ask you some questions along the way to make sure, everything's going well within the cut or the color or the style or whatever. But other than that, I'm fine to just focus on my work and let you zone out. But just having those really good listening skills and letting the client kind of lead the mood and lead the conversation can help them feel more at ease. And it gives you some variety too. If you're on every single client, like personality on big show, big stories, whatever, that's going to get really exhausting. So yeah, there's some clients that like to come in and have you tell all your funny stories and be, a little more vocal and fun. And then there's going to be those clients that like to come in and just have a relaxing time. So I really appreciate the variety and, let my clients just kind of lead the way. And I enjoy every client for, each of those different things. Yeah, I would say the human relations and the professional, attitude thing can be hard, especially in the beginning as well. It's hard not to take things personally in the beginning when you have a client being very specific or particular about things, which I can tend to appreciate those clients because I really enjoy like a challenge. Plus, I feel like I can follow directions really well. And so if you give me a specific direction that you want, something very specific, I could probably do it. So I appreciate that challenge, and I like a client that knows what they like. But yeah, being able to learn those skills, cultivate that relationship with the client, that takes time. And practice. Again, practice makes proficiency. And so just especially if you've been in any customer service, that helps a lot in retail or maybe at a restaurant. If you can get that experience, that's always going to be super helpful. So, of course, things that they say in here is about being punctual, being courteous, be neat, be um, effective and skillful. So that's a big thing too, like keeping up on your skills and making sure that you are with the new trends and you are taking classes. Classes are great even if you feel like you know everything. It's always great to make sure that you're revisiting these skills and getting getting a refresher, a reminder sometimes even, just a reminder of, hey, you've um, you've gone over this before, but maybe you haven't used this skill in a long time. I have had that happen to me with a few classes where it's like, oh my gosh, I kind of haven't been using my razor at all, and I love using my razor to make really nice, soft, feathery cuts. And taking a razor class is a great way to kind of remind me of those skills and how nice they are to use. And so, just getting back into keeping up on, at least doing 2 or 3 classes a year to keep up on those skills, and, reminding you of skills you may have learned and kind of haven't used in a while. Also knowing the laws and the rules and the regulations. Ooh, sorry. Especially for like COVID and stuff. I think we learned a lot about that. A lot of people were so mad about some of the things, and they didn't realize a big part of why we have a licensure is to keep things sanitary and safe for the public. They're not worried about bad haircuts. They're worried about people getting sick. So using chemicals in an improper way, not sanitizing things properly, so you're spreading uh, germs amongst people, and then again, not not able to contain communicable diseases. So that is why we have a license, a state board of cosmetology. It's their job to maintain the health and safety of the public. So that is why they shut us down during uh, quarantine, even though some people would say that we were considered necessary. They there was some people really arguing for that, and I definitely, was very affected by being put out of work in the salon, and then obviously I was working at the school at the same time, so we had to do online education for a hands-on skill, so that was really hard. But that is one of the things too that we have to maintain as stylists, is that very important sanitation. So that is actually the next chapter, is about bacteriology, and that is a big thing, I think. Again, we all learned in depth about with COVID, because anything that I learned in school, we relearned 100 times, and then I taught it about how to be clean and sanitary. And then before COVID, the biggest thing within salons was probably at nail salons, with spreading of MRSA, and other things like that, where people would get infections if they clipped the skin too close. Uh, Maybe some eyelash stuff was big too, where people would get eye infections from eyelash extensions. So those are the things that the state boards of cosmetology are mostly focused on. Most of the time, they're cracking down on nail salons and little places that do a lot of kind of medi spa type things, where you really have to be on top of your sanitation. So they're mostly checking in on reports where somebody isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and somebody's got an infection on their finger or their face or their toes or something. So that is a big part of that. That is why we have cosmetology state board, and that is a big part of what they spend their time doing before COVID. They didn't, bother most people, as long as you're clean. So that's a big thing. Stay clean and you won't have any trouble. As long as there's not a global pandemic, you should be fine. So yeah, I think, is there anything else I want to go over? The professional image stuff, I would say the biggest thing, everyone's going to have their own look, their own style, especially within this industry. I feel like you really can, go out and make it your own. Right now, I kind of have a very blasé style on, very, not really anything, but sometimes I do go a little more, punky or funky, or I couldn't be a little more like hipster, or hippie flower child. And I like that I can kind of have lots of different styles and explore lots of different hairstyles and makeup looks and have fun with it. And my clients usually, like it when I show up with pink hair or something. It's kind of fun. So that's a really big part of my profession that I love. And especially when I get to do it for like Halloween and stuff like that. It's really fun. So that's part of my professional image, is just having fun with all the different things. And and I think you guys can see that if you follow me. I haven't been doing very well with posting my outfits of the day, my thrifty Thursdays. I thrift a lot of my outfits. This is what I thrifted this shirt. Most of my outfits are thrifted, because I do get color on everything, even when I try not to, and I'm wearing a cape and all that good stuff, wearing gloves. It's just part of the job, and I'm an artist, so messy artist is just the way we are. So I try to, not invest a lot of money on clothes that are just gonna get ruined. And this is actually polyester, which is another good tip for if you are gonna go out and buy new clothes, you're just not into thrifting, or you are thrifting. Polyester is really good because it doesn't get the bleach spots like other things, and it's easier to get color out of. Doesn't stain with like the pigments as bad as other fabrics do. So this is something I look for when I'm thrifting. It's something I know that will be easy to care for as well. So it's not going to get ruined. And if it does get ruined, it's going to be like, $5, $10 down the drain instead of 30, 40, 50 or more. Who knows? 75. What does a shirt cost? I don't even know because I can't even imagine. When I do go shopping at the mall, I'm always like clearance shopping. The only thing I really spend like full money on is shoes because, like I said earlier, keeping those feet, keep those puppies happy because they're going to be sad if you don't take care of them. So, yeah, I say have fun with your image, be kind and courteous. Most of all, kill them with kindness. Even in those bad situations, that's usually the key. And yeah, of course, take care of your physical and mental health. You can't do anything if your body's falling apart and you're just can't handle life mentally either, of course. So those are two things, go see your doctor if you need to and go see your therapist if you need to. Those are two things that I've, spent too much time. I've definitely always gone to therapy, definitely always go to the doctor. I'm kind of a wimp that way. But definitely I've been guilty of putting things off and working through pain and not taking care of myself the way I should have, where it's, hit me harder in the long run. So take care of yourself. And yeah, if you have any questions, the next one I said is about bacteriology. I'm just going to kind of keep going through chapter by chapter, doing a little review. Hopefully this is fun for anybody, and hopefully I can get some engagement where I can start answering some questions and getting more specific about things. Hopefully my audio is better this time. I got this new fuzzy little my new fuzzy little friend is my mic, and so hopefully that has helped. I think my lighting is pretty okay. I got these new twinkly lights. Aren't they fun? And I added some blue to my background, which my mom said would help. I don't know. Like I said, I just kind of decided just to go for it today because I just got to start going for it or else I'm not going to do it. Got to stop second guessing myself, huh? All right. So yes, please like and subscribe. I'm going to play my theme song one more time. I think if I can, just for fun, and then we'll go. Enter the stylist that likes to share. Here is Amber with knowledge and care. And if you like the vibe, like and subscribe. Bye.